was just thinking of those who are suffering from depression. I've suffered from that as well, and I have many people writing me saying that they are depressed. And for me, it was the spiritual thoughts and the spiritual path that really helped me out of it. That I saw that there was something else, um, and I can assume that many people have contacted you also who are depressed and feeling nothing. And it's so interesting with depression because we come down to this life to have a life to live, to have life force, and then all of a sudden it feels like you just shut down and feel nothing, and everything is just gray. Like I remember the sensation.
Hmm.
And I'm curious to if you have any thoughts of why certain people experience sort of no life in this depressional state.
Well, and again, I don't have answers, but let me speak to it. I think that one of the things that happens, and let's look at as a metaphor before I talk about that, and that's so clouds. So one of the challenges for all of us is, you know, um, the sun is always still shining above the cloud. So often we have again these extreme responses. Well, if the positive outlook, the vacation outlook, the turn away outlook says, oh, well, forget about the clouds. They're not important. Don't you realize the sun's shining? It's okay. And the other is, I can't see the sun. I start to question if it's still there. And I live only under the clouds, which is real. Under the clouds, it's damp, it's wet, it's cold, it's dark. And the challenge of an open heart and how we help each other, again, the glass is half full and half empty, both are always true. The reality of living under a cloud cover is real, and the sun has never stopped shining. And so I think often depression comes when through sometimes through no fault of our own, because it is also biochemical. Um, we we feel so far away from the light that we start to feel like, well, this is all there is. And I think one of the hardest things when people feel depression is that kind of how to reach through it, how to reach out, because it often feels like you can't. So, depression, I've learned, is not just about sadness, but a weightiness, a heaviness that somehow prevents you from, it seems like getting out of the house you might as well try to go to China, um, and so again, this notion of whenever possible. Well, first off, it is also biochemical, and if we're blessed to have medicines that can help relieve some of the weightiness, so we can do the inner work. And I think they go hand in hand. And so I think also that there is another kind of source of depression, which is what we were talking about earlier. That if we refuse to feel what is ours to feel, we wind up hovering in a place of no feeling. So that's where fear makes us so afraid of feeling that we lose access to feeling, which makes it worse. Because I believe even if a feeling is difficult, it's worse not to feel at all.
Mm.
And so if I'm afraid and I feel like I need help, this is another example of how we need each other. So if I have a feeling that I'm afraid to feel, but I kind of know if I don't feel it, it'll be worse, but I don't know how to do it, I need to reach to you as my friend and say, can you come over and help me because I'm stuck? One of the chapters in the new book, Falling Down and Getting Up, is a chapter I call the endless vows. And these are 4 simple vows that have helped us throughout the ages. Anytime we've engaged in any of these 4 vows, I think they always return us to a life of feeling, and a larger life of spirit and what matters. And the four vows are help, thank you, I'm sorry, and I love you.
That was similar to that Ho'oponopono. Have you heard of that?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, I think it's very wise what you're saying about we need each other, that this life is sort of constructed in a way that we actually need to reach out to each other. And very interesting what you said about the cloud and depression, because that's the way I was feeling it. It was like it was a cloud, and then all of a sudden it disappeared. Like from time to time, it started to disappear, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" It was like, yeah, like it was never there. And so I started to work with my ego to sort of let it know every time I felt depressed again that, but it might disappear. The cloud might disappear. Know that this won't last forever. It's a
Yes.
temporary state of being.
Well, and that's one of the hard things also about being human is that we tend naturally to extrapolate and make what we're going through a worldview. So if I am in pain, then the world's a painful place. If I am afraid, the world's a fearful place. If I'm broken, the world's a broken place. And I learned during my cancer journey, again, not through any wisdom on my part, but through a very difficult passage, that to be broken is no reason to see all things as broken. And while if I'm broken, I need the company of those who know what it's like to be broken, I need everything whole to heal. And when I'm afraid, I need the company of those who know what it is to be afraid, but I need everything safe to heal. And so, thank God, everything isn't just my experience, because it's, we rightfully talk in the modern world about diversity as ethnic diversity or racial diversity, and but not and there is a deeper spiritual diversity of life that is healing, and that's also why we need to be open to everything. So an example would be water. Water we know is made of hydrogen and oxygen, H2O. I can't say to you, could you give me a glass of the hydrogen, please? Because even if you could separate it, it would no longer be water and no longer be healing or life-giving. And so we need to let everything in and help each other move through the difficulty and celebrate and share the things that are healthy and whole.
To watch the full video, click the link below, and I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel.
Resto maliata falia. Tan